Hello everybody, welcome to the Online Tennis Podcast, episode 45. It is French Open season. It's me, Jack, to cover it, and my co-host.
Gavin, regular co-host again this week. Good to be with you, Jack. A lot to get through from the opening round. It's the usual 3-day bunched opening round, which sort of takes a while to get used to, doesn't it? Because most tournaments sort of have the 2-day first round tradition and sort of follow a regular schedule, but this is Paris we're talking about. So,
and there's been a lot of rain as well, hasn't there? So it's all getting a little bit stacked. But I think I'm just about keeping my head over water. I don't know if you are, but
just about. I've mainly been spending the last 3 days trying to find streams in Discovery Plus. So just trying to find the balance between actually watching the tennis and trying to find the tennis.
So it's already doing your head in then, I guess.
Absolutely.
We are covering all the first rounds that have happened so far, trying to give you a little tidbit on pretty much everything that's worth knowing. The upsets, the Brits, the French, the favourites, and a little bit on the ones to watch in the second round as well. Let's dive in, I think, Gav. Let's give it a go.
Absolutely.
First place I wanted to start was on the upsets. Very first one, right off the bat. Did you see any of Cuevas v Brooksby?
I did see a bit of that, yeah. We're both doing this predictions competition thing with a good pal Cedric from the tennis club that we go to. And when that match came up, I sort of was head over heart. I thought, do I back Brooksby just because he's been playing so well on the hard courts? And I thought, well, actually, if you look at his clay court record, it's been awful. But I thought he may be able to turn it around. And how wrong I was.
I made the mistake of looking at... Well, I remember when Brooksby was up and coming, I watched him on the Challenger Tour, actually, as part of an analysis that I was doing. And he was exceptional on the clay of America, basically. The clay court tournaments in the USA are far different, however, to European clay, where the ball gets slowed down significantly. I kind of got a false sense of how good he was.
I should not have underestimated Cuevas, because obviously we know how good Cuevas is as a clay courter, but I did not really have that much belief in him. I just thought Brooksby was going to find a way.
I heavily underestimated Cuevas, and I definitely thought Brooksby was coming through.
It's funny when you look back on it retrospectively, you're thinking, how did I ever underestimate Pablo Cuevas after that match? You know what I mean? Like his movement's still great for his age. Great technique, very solid player, doesn't miss many balls. He's the sort of player that isn't going to beat himself. He's not got massive firepower, but he's not the sort of guy that's going to make so many unforced errors and beat himself. So
yeah, honestly, I feel like Brooksby could be good on clay at some point. He's just, his shots maybe are a little bit too flat and don't really do much, to be honest. On that surface, obviously.
Well, it neutralises his power, doesn't it? I mean, it neutralises his power, and then I guess the counter punch isn't as effective on clay either, is it? So it's
exactly.
Not the best surface for him.
No. So yeah, a little bit of a shocker. Next one I've got is Krajinovic Opelka.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all. If you look at actually clay court pedigree, Opelka's got a lot this season. He won the title in Houston, beat John Isner in the tallest ATP final ever played up to this point. He did make the semis in Rome last year as well.
Exactly. So
for a big server, he's very, very good mover in clay, and his kick serve is really effective on it as well. He gets the ball really up high. It's a nightmare to return his kick serve. I was surprised at that. But Krajinovic again, it's the sort of first round. I think if he was seeing that, he'd be thinking, "Oh no, that's the one guy he wouldn't want the first round because he's very dangerous." Krajinovic,
quite a high ranked first round player. Obviously, you're quite right.
He's probably one of the best players to have not won an ATP title yet as well. Krajinovic.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I was going to say very, very sort of out of sorts player, to be honest. Like he's kind of, his stock was going down for sure. So I did think Opelka had a pretty good chance of coming through.
I guess as well. Well, Krajinovic did make his first ATP 500 final on clay last summer, but it was Hamburg. It was after sort of the main clay court season. So I thought as well, like his stock was sort of going down. But obviously, just shows you that on his day he can beat. He's got the potential and the talent to beat players like Opelka. Yeah. It was a surprise for sure.
It took me back, definitely. Next one, I'm sure probably will surprise you a lot more, is ADF's loss, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina's loss to Tallon Griekspoor.
Yeah, I know again. Well, to be fair, Griekspoor, it's funny when you say upset and then we look at these players and you actually look at like Griekspoor. He is one hell of a player. He won like 9 Challenger Tour titles last season. Played against Djokovic, I think, in the US Open and made a good account of himself. And there was that second round, I think it was. Was it third round at the US Open?
Second round. It was second round.
He beat Karatsev, I think, in Rotterdam, which was slow hard.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week.
We're clutching at straws here, but it's, again, if you look at ADF, obviously he's been playing unbelievable tennis in Monte Carlo, but actually, if you take Monte Carlo out of it, since last clay court season, he's not been playing his best stuff. So I guess you could say maybe it's just a consistency thing of, he's great when he's on, he's really, really great, and then when he's not on, he can struggle against players like Griekspoor, because Griekspoor is one hell of a player, but it is an upset. No
Definitely.
doubt about it.
Yeah, I didn't see too much of it. I do. Every time I get a prediction right, I don't always big myself up, but I thought this one was pretty big. I did think after Monte Carlo is the event not to have a serve. Pretty much every other event, you're not going to get away with it to quite the same level. And I mean, ADF survived a few in Monte Carlo as well. For him to get to the final, he did get there by the skin of his teeth. So an upset like this doesn't really surprise me, is all I'll say. At least I didn't think he was going to have an amazing season. Maybe against Griekspoor I would have expected the win, but yeah, exactly. He's a brilliant player. It could have went either way. I think, Gav, you're quite right.
Absolutely.
Basically, yeah. Next one, Shapo v Rune.
This is one that I got right as well, but to be fair, I feel like this is the sort of one that everybody predicted, really. Everyone that I was sort of speaking to, or
I said it's like, tossing a coin. Who knows what Shapo you're going to get in the day.
Against Ivashka last week, he was all over the place. And 53 unforced errors today. When I saw that, I'm just sort of thinking, that's like brutal. I mean, you're not winning many matches with that. I mean, I thought Thiem, if you look at Thiem's before, we'll get into Thiem later on, but I think Thiem only made something like under 40 unforced errors, and he played really, really poorly. And you think that Shapovalov's hit 13 more unforced errors than that, and you're thinking, Jesus, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
I don't know. I just think, how would you coach him? You know what I mean? He's got Jamie Delgado's gone now, but I'm thinking, like, how do you go about coaching? Because you don't want to take away the firepower that he's got. He's got so much ability, and when he's on, he's incredible. But how do you teach? I guess it's rally tempo. How do you teach him to sort of stay in the point for long enough to then effectively use his weapon?
It's a shame, because I imagine Rune would probably have been licking his lips when he saw the first round if he was going to come up against a seed. Because to be honest, if I was Jamie Delgado, the one thing I'd want to do is test Rune over 5 sets, right? Make him play, exactly. Because the guy's physicality is probably the only question mark that's hanging over his head. He's got all the shots.
Played in Lyon last week, had a deep run, so he's going to have some fatigue from there as well.
Did you see that? Did you see his match against, who was it last week? I can't remember.
Guinard,
that was it. He couldn't move his legs the last few points. He was literally as stiff as a tree. Yeah, it was mental. So lots of thinking to do. Denis Shapovalov.
Yep.
Next one we've got is the one you just mentioned there, Gav. Thiem v Dellien. First stat for you. Obviously, you were saying about unforced errors, massive. Damien Kusta, we had on the programme last week, put it into perspective. He said Dellien made 80% of his first serves, but only averaged 163 kilometres an hour in that serve. Still, he didn't face a break point throughout the entirety of the match. His only previous match at tour level without facing a break point was against Gilbis, and Gilbis retired in that match. Nothing on Gilbis, but it was a retirement, basically. So shocking performance in return from Thiem, who was handling unforced errors left, right and centre.
What was strange about it, I mean, I don't know, did you watch the match in full? Did you see it all?
No, I didn't see any of it.
It was just, at the start of the match, Thiem was playing aggressively. I'm thinking, okay, he's playing the right way here. Dellien played solid stuff, but Dellien kept hitting into the Thiem backhand. There was a lot of inside-out forehands from Dellien into the Thiem backhand. I'm thinking, you've got to test the forehand, because that's a shot that he's been really struggling on. But then that was really exposed actually in the return of serve more than anything else, more than in the rally. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't great in the rally, but it was his forehand return, which was just absolutely shocking. And I think after losing that first set, his shoulders slumped, and he didn't play as aggressively in the second or third sets until the very end of the third set. But what basically was happening was Thiem was basically standing way too far behind the baseline. Dellien was being comfortable, getting enough time on the ball, wasn't being put under enough pressure. And Thiem looked really dejected. It was a very tough watch, actually, especially that second and third set.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to go before he gets anywhere near his best. He is going to be in Perugia and Parma, 2 big challenges in Italy before going to Wimbledon.
I thought he should play Surbiton for the grass. Surely that's a smarter option.
Well, if he wants to get his ranking up, then he's probably not going to prioritise too many grass court events, to be honest.
True, I know. I guess there was that ranking points fiasco at Wimbledon,
Next one we've got, Gav, is Amanda Anisimova's win over
Predicted
Naomi
this one.
Osaka. I've got it in upsets, but it's not really an upset.
It's not really an upset, is it? It's a sort of
No.
cop-out upset. It's a sort of one that you can say based on Osaka's, Grand Slam winning capabilities, but on the clay,
It genuinely isn't an upset, actually. Like, it's one that people might peg as an upset for the reasons you just said there. Exactly.
To the casual tennis fan, it's an upset, isn't it? Because you see the big name of Osaka and you think, oh, she lost. But I think to those that have been watching, who are avid tennis fans and watch the sport week in, week out, on clay, Osaka's negative memories from that last year, this tournament, and she got thrashed in Madrid as well.
Yeah.
Pulled out of Rome, you're thinking it's not looking great for chances.
Yeah. I did a little analysis of this one, actually, and to be honest, Osaka wasn't as bad as I thought she was going to be. She was. That's fair. That's fair. She's had very bad results on clay, and she put on a really good defensive performance, moving really well. The thing is, Osaka doesn't defend that much, so obviously on a hard court, she's hitting 1-2 shots and it either goes in or it goes out. So to ask her to transition to clay and start playing a defensive game is really difficult. It's going to take a long time. And she was getting there against Anisimova, who obviously can be just as aggressive as Osaka on her day. It's a little bit of a different kind of aggression. She can spread the court a lot better than Osaka, but it has the same result. Like, she can totally take the racket away from her opponent. So for Osaka to then play defender against her, it was quite impressive. And really, the only difference, it was a really high quality match. The only difference was the second serve, and Osaka's was double faulting in really important points. She hit some really good second serves at the same time because if you don't hit a good second serve against Anisimova, she's probably genuinely top 5 players in the world to take advantage of it. So you have to hit a good second serve. She gave it a shot, and she just kind of got, a little bit, not nervous probably, but just couldn't put the ball in the court.
Lack a bit of confidence, maybe.
Yeah, maybe lack a bit of confidence, exactly. Yeah. So, give her a little bit of time. She's trying to find ways to make her game work on clay. So I wouldn't just say she's rocking up to tournaments expecting to lose necessarily. She is actually giving it a bash.
Yeah, it's trial and error, isn't it? At times.
Yeah, exactly. I think she'll get there, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Next one I've got is probably the biggest upset of the tournament so far, actually. I would say Ons Jabeur losing to Magda Linette was one that nobody really saw coming.
Yeah, it's one of these ones where it's just like opening day of a slam, you think, okay, Jabeur, first up, should be getting the win there, and obviously it didn't pan out like that. I didn't see all of it. I saw the end of it because I was watching the Team Dellien match, but from what I could see, I thought Linette played very well, but I think Jabeur maybe got a bit tight in the big moments. Am I right in saying she lost that second set in a tiebreak? So I didn't see the whole thing, but did she get a bit tight in the second set tiebreak, or was it more Linette playing brilliantly?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. I've got quite a large bit of analysis on this, so I won't say too much because I've got quite a bit of it covered. But basically, Linette was playing quite safe, was asking for answers from Jabeur. She couldn't really find them. To be honest, though, Jabeur did a good job of hanging with Linette, who made her life really difficult. It was just at the end of the third set, 40-love up. The 3 points that got her back to deuce were just terrible luck, to be honest. Like, one of them was a net cord that she had to volley, and from there she didn't have a chance. Another smash she only just fluffed basically and gave herself no chance in the backhand volley. Another one clipped off the line. It was kind of just not her day, basically. So I wouldn't say it was really Jabeur's fault. I think Linette made Jabeur play as well as she would have had to have brought her best level into the match, and she just wasn't ready for it. So I would say Linette played a smart match, and Jabeur couldn't deliver. When Jabeur's forehand's off, to be fair as well, it's pretty bad. And I wouldn't say it was just because, I think Linette made that happen. I think Linette forced Jabeur to play difficult shots, and she couldn't deliver. That was all it was. Maybe at her very best, Jabeur would have won, but Linette asked the right questions. That's how I would put it. Next one I've got is Kanepi beating Muguruza, but honestly, that is not an upset either.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I predicted that as well. Kaia Kanepi's like the upset queen, isn't she? Always seems to happen. It's like, and she always gets played on the Sunday as well. It's sort of like it's a weird coincidence.
Yeah. She's a brilliant player. I didn't. I just wanted to mention it because it's cool that Kanepi can just like defeat giants whenever she likes. Muguruza obviously in dire form at the moment. So
and the interesting thing as well is that she was the 2001 Roland Garros Junior champion. Richard Gasquet was the 2001 Junior Men's champion, both into the second round.
Interesting.
Sort of. What was it? A throwback Thursday, sort of flash of the past.
That is cool, actually. 21 years later, it's mental. Yeah, next one I have got is Kontaveit v Tomljanovic. No surprise there, really.
Yeah, we're calling it upsets, and like no surprise there.
But it's perceived upsets, is basically,
like,
and also that she was actually the bookies' favourite, Kontaveit, whereas I'm not sure Muguruza. She might have been by a whisker, and Anisimova definitely was the bookies' favourite over Osaka. So this actually was an upset on paper, but Kontaveit is not actually a good clay court player. She definitely thrives off using her forehand to deep, basically to push players back rather than trying to find the angle of it. And the rally temperament of her forehand is questionable as well. It does tend to sort of spray eventually.
Yeah.
So Tomljanovic had a very good chance and she did take advantage. It's not too much of a surprise, to be honest, Gav. The very last one I want to talk about, and you can tell me if you think it's an upset, I don't really know, but again, on paper it was actually an upset. I would say it was probably about evens. Joao Sousa beating Chun-hsin Tseng.
It was funny about that. Joao Sousa played an absolute belt of a match in the Geneva final. Did you see it?
Against Norrie?
No, not against Norrie. It was against Casper Rue.
Sorry.
He was serving for the title, and he just couldn't get over the line. But see, in terms of his level, it's funny. I actually watched. If you watch back the highlights of the two finals, the comparison in quality, like Joao Sousa, the Sousa Rue Geneva final match for me was like, it was just nothing against Norrie or Mulchan, but the quality was just so much higher. Like, I thought Sousa was unbelievable. I think he's one of these players that doesn't get enough credit either. Maybe because he's not got the big weapon or the really, really big win, maybe that others have had. But his base level of play is like really high. See, when he's on, he's brilliant. Like, he's got very solid serve, very good forehand, very good backhand, decent return. I'm a big fan of his. And that's actually his first Grand Slam main draw win since Wimbledon 2019.
No, it's not. Is it actually?
Yeah, according to Jose Morgado, I'm going to give credit for that stat. It wasn't just me, remembering all Joao Sousa's losses over the years, past couple of years. But I thought that was quite mental as well. To be fair, he did have a difficult 2020 pandemic year, so that could easily be possible. Made the fourth round of Wimbledon that year. Lost
did
to
he?
Rafa.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. He's beaten Goffin, Zverev, Nishikori and Ferrer in his career. And Kachanov. That's his 5 top 10 wins. And Tseng as well is actually a really good scalp. I was saying former junior world number 1. He was playing amazingly. I think physicality. He kind of paced himself actually, which was quite smart. Like to see him sort of not throwing in the towel, but kind of just like saying, "Okay, like you're quite a bit ahead in this set. Do you know
sort
what?
Of like
I'll
Gaston,
give it back in the next
sort of
one."
like Gaston in the 4th set against Demon, just giving them the 6-love set.
Yeah, well, we'll get onto that in a second as well. Jesus, but Tseng definitely one to watch. On some, I would say clay might be his best surface from just watching him, to be honest. Not the biggest serve and amazing movement and defence. So, could be clay. The Brits is what I'm going to move on to next. That's our upset, and that's all our upsets, basically. So, just looking at some of the British contingent, just firstly, the ones that got knocked out. Heather Watson got knocked out by Giacomo, and Harriet Dart got knocked out by Trevisan as well. Not really surprising, obviously. They were both pretty one-sided. I would like to talk about Raducanu's win over Noskova, though.
Former junior champion Noskova.
Yes.
Last year's junior champion. Not just
she's only 17, right?
Yep.
So very impressive win. How much of it did you see, Gab? Did you see
the first set? But obviously we were both.
We were on our way to Bishop Briggs,
playing our own high quality clay court tennis last night. Take of that what you will.
Less said the better, I think.
I think sarcasm probably accentuated there. Moving swiftly on from that, saw the first set of that, and I thought it was a really high quality encounter. I thought it was Noskova played with no fear. She played with a lot of freedom, and for me, I thought Raducanu would maybe not get through that. but she did, and I think that's testament to, again, she's not played that much in clay, but I think she's got a great attitude. I think she's got great tactical awareness as well. She's a very intelligent player. You know what I mean? A lot of players need the coaching, or a lot of players, I think, can't work out, how to play a match or how to tactically use their skills to the best of their ability. But she's certainly not one of those. She can do it. She can work it out herself, and that's what she did.
Totally. I remember her in Australia, obviously, when she was slicing everything because her wrist was kind of failed her against Kovanic, and it's the kind of move that a lot of players would be afraid to make, sort of thing. She's quite aware of her own game and what she needs to do to be better on every court and stuff. I was very impressed with what I saw before we had to leave. So it was really good. The other two matches, one was Norrie v Guinard in 3 very confident sets, I would say. That was a very, very good win for Cam, actually.
Guinard had been playing good stuff last week, but I think he'd been struggling physically after his run in Lyon as well, and I think that probably didn't help him going up against Norrie, who's probably one of the most informed clay court. Well, is one of the most informed clay courts. He won Lyon last week.
Definitely
his first clay court title, and he's won every single title for his number one seed. So,
wow! I know
usually you're the stat master, but I've sort of got a couple of jabs in.
Nice.
There, but no doubt you'll get the final knockout soon.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Good win.
Yeah, exactly. Good one. The other one I wanted to talk about was Dan beating Francisco Cerundolo.
Very, very good win.
Yeah, super good one. Because I didn't think not that he didn't have a chance, obviously. He definitely did, but definitely Cerundolo should have been the favourite there, really.
I didn't think he'd win it as comfortably as he did. You know what I mean? Scoreline,
straight sets, I know.
Yeah, I know.
So good to watch Dan sort of perplexing, sort of amazing clay court players with his style of play. It's just so surprising every time to me. I don't know, I'm just so taken by it every time. Like, I love watching him. He's such a good player. I fingers crossed for a good French Open for him, because the longer he plays at the French Open, the more enjoyment I get out of him. Definitely. Moving on to the French, the first match. There's actually not much to talk about in this match, but what's that? What?
Yeah, I'm just laughing at. Oh no, yeah, just when you said there's not much to talk about regarding the French, it's just
no. Just this one match. There's plenty to talk about with the French.
Are you talking about the Stan Mute match? Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking about the Stan Mute match.
Can we just sort of remember the first set and just sort of switch it off after that? That's how I felt. Sort of as a long time Stan fan. It just got a wee bit of a mess. Obviously, there was Watergate, not the political Watergate, tennis's version of Watergate, when Wawrinka wanted the water to be at a room temperature, not
of course, ice cold. Right. Yeah. See,
I found that quite funny actually, because like he didn't just go on about it once. I think it was 3 changeovers. Like, he was so passionately defending his question for room temperature water. He's like, it's the French Open, as if the French Open must provide room temperature.
I backed him up in the car. Actually, I was like, if you drink really cold water, it can suck. Yeah, it can make you really cold.
I prefer it, to be fair, but like, each to their own. But I just found it quite funny. It was sort of like the Murray Miami 2014 incident against Djokovic, where he kept going on about it, despite the fact nothing was going on.
Yeah,
like, Stan kept asking for the umpires, literally just looking at him like, it's not happening, mate. You know what I mean?
That little side note aside, it was a shame because it just wasn't close to his best movement wise.
Physically towards the end, he was struggling, and he was a mini break up in that third set, wasn't he? In the tie break.
Yeah,
but the break up was just, I don't know. Even when he was a mini break up, I just sort of pessimistic in terms of, well, Mute's going to find a drop shot here, and all of a sudden it's going to, the gap's going to.
Wait, so did he just win the first point? Because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was 1-love mini break. That was a mini break.
I was going to say, because did he not lose it 7-1?
Yeah, he did. That's what I'm saying. It went downhill quickly.
It went down really quickly. It did all really quickly. A bit of a shame. But Mute will be quite good fun against, I'll tell you in a second. We've got that ones to watch. Yeah. Nadal, yes, exactly. Yeah. That'll be good fun to watch.
And the night session as well.
Yeah. We'll end with Tsonga and the French, actually. I know, we'll get onto that in a second. Very quickly, though. First, Krejcikova v Parry. You see that, Diane Parry?
Yeah, just a totally bizarre match, really, wasn't it? Really bizarre. Parry couldn't win a point for the first 15 points in the match, like 1 in 15, I think she won.
Exactly right. Yeah,
I thought it was going to get ugly. I thought it was going to be like breadstick bagel territory, or bagel breadstick, or maybe even double bagel territory. It was that bad, but Parry eventually settled down. Krejcikova was a break-up in the second and third, but then she had her physical issues. So to be fair, I mean, did you see her press conference afterwards? She just broke down.
Yeah, she broke down in tears, yeah.
It was not nice viewing, obviously, but, credit to Parry for being able to come back mentally, but I think Krejcikova, clearly, it was her first match in, how long was it? I can't remember exactly how many days it was.
Maybe since March, but she definitely wasn't match fit, and she wasn't ready to play a match like that. Okay, yeah, Parry's level definitely went up as well, obviously.
But even when she was 4-love up in the first set, she didn't do anything incredible. She wasn't blown away. It was just a lot of unforced errors from Parry.
Exactly. Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, yeah, Parry definitely played above her ranking, and actually, I will give her a bit of credit. She's probably going to be around for a while. She's got a very solid game. It's incredibly sad to see Krejcikova go out like this. Obviously, defending champ. She is the first defending champion since Helena Ostapenko lost in 2018 to go out of the French Open. She lost to Kozlova at the time, and the only other one before that was Miskina in 2005, who lost to Maria Sanchez Lorenzo. Okay. Yeah, really sad. Obviously, Krejcikova nowhere near good enough to fit enough, to defend her title. So hopefully we see her in decent form in years to come. Because at her best, she is very I don't underrate her.
It's never a fluke when you win the slam.
It's not exactly. Right, Gav, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a challenge in saying this person's name. Pliskova's win over Andrei Jafitrimo.
Beautifully pronounced as always.
Andrei Jafitrimo.
You've been gone for an Italian accent.
I know, she is French. I'll point that out. I know, so it's definitely wrong. Just very good. It just made me laugh. The on-court interviewer asked Pliskova, she said to Pliskova, Tessa was a massive fan of hers, basically looking for a response, and Pliskova said, "Who's Tessa?"
Oh dear.
I know, yeah.
Oh dear. I think these on-court interviews, I don't like them really that much. It's like the player just wants to, get off the court when they've won. They don't really want to have an awkward chat without knowing.
They laughed about it, to be fair. It was fine, obviously. She just didn't know her first name, and probably didn't know her second name either, because who can know that? No, just by the sheer length of it, she'd probably forgotten it instantly. It's very, very, I'm not going to try and say it again. Anyway, just a little side note. Before I talk about Gaston v De Minaur, which was some match. Rivals probably for the best match of the tournament so far, I would say. It's incredible atmosphere.
Yep.
This about the French crowd, obviously you can either love them or hate them. I probably can't love them, to be honest. I don't really mind if they're obviously the Alcaraz. This is what I've seen on Twitter. Obviously the Alcaraz Gaston match last year, you saw the ugliest side of the French crowd. And
you saw sort of suburban Paris side. I think you've got sort of, I don't know, what would you call Roland Garros crowd? Maybe it's like the Indiana Jones hats they've all got on, in the crowd. Even when I went that year, I'm like, I want one of those Indiana Jones hats. Could never find them, but people just they must randomly have them hidden somewhere. It's bizarre.
The French crowd sort of give me Kyrgios vibes in that everybody, would say, "Oh, I absolutely hate Kyrgios," but everybody is looking for a ticket to see him. Basically,
I tell you what sums him up, right? So when I've been to Roland Garros twice. Lucky enough to have gone twice. Second time I was watching Nadal Bolelli first set. There's a thunderstorm, so it's actually thunder and lightning. Rightly, they called play for the day, and just the boos ringing around the stadium. I'm sitting next to Frenchmen, French guys next to me, shouting and bawling at the umpire. I'm like, what do you expect them to do? This is before I had a roof, obviously. There's a thunderstorm there. It's lashing it down with rain. It's 9 o'clock at night. What do you want? And they're all booing. It was quite funny. So,
there's no logic, Gav. There is no logic. That's what I love about it, though. It's just mindless fun. It's just
it's just sort of bizarre. It's like they've got pissed or something. It's like they're drunk. It's like they're always drunk.
They're all just wasted. It's some atmosphere though. It's really good. So obviously, Gaston 6-love in the fourth set and then down 3-love in the fifth set. Yeah, just out of nowhere manages to get enough games to take it to a tiebreak. And
it was just mental. It was ugly stuff and it was wonderful at the same time.
The cheering and the booing and the tiebreak for all of De Minaur's mistakes.
Served for the match twice. Wasn't able to get it done. Went to a tiebreak which had some ugly tennis from both. Gaston sort of tried to go Del Potro style and thrash at everything. And some of it worked and some of it didn't work. And then De Minaur missed some shocking returns. And he had a face like thunder by the end of it. I think he was just had enough of the crowd.
Yeah. He did. Loved it. It was so good.
Beautiful match.
And speaking of the French crowd and the beautiful side of them, and Joe Wilfried Tsonga's loss to Casper Ruud.
Au revoir, Joe. Yeah. Well, to be fair, you say ugly French crowd, but to be fair, none of them showed up when he walked on the court. You see, it was only like, I don't know, 300.
Fuck, I know, but that's not, because they all did turn up eventually. You know,
they turned up eventually, but I mean, late to the party. I mean,
that's no issue. I think that's no issue. There might have been another Frenchman on somewhere else or something.
But this is his last match. This is Tsonga. This is like his last ever. Well, he didn't know it would be his last match, but likely to be his last match.
They turned up.
They turned up eventually. It's sort of like I don't know. It's like me at school being 10 minutes late. They eventually filed in, but like, come on, you missed the main party.
I suppose for those that didn't see it, it couldn't have been a sort of sadder, bittersweet send off.
It was like a full blown tragedy in the end. I mean,
it was hard to watch. Tsonga served for the fourth set, and all of a sudden, shoulder completely gone. Couldn't serve over 90 miles an hour. Basically, Ruud just absolutely destroying everything. He couldn't hit a forehand either. Actually, I don't know if you saw him hit a few left-handed or the left-handed.
Yeah, the left-handed shot. It was like it turned into a bit of a club tennis match at the end. Actually, but it was quite funny. Talking about peak pessimism. So when Tsonga was a set up, Simon Reed goes, Tsonga's just about kept himself in this match. I'm like, he's a set up, Simon. Come on, don't be that pessimistic, mate. Like, come on.
I was thinking he had a chance. He did have a chance.
He did, like, just quite funny. Simon, that was before he got broken. This is like an hour and a half in. He's a set up and 2-0. And Simon Reed's like, he's just about still in this song. It's like, he's a set up, Simon.
Yeah, that's silly.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith, mate. I mean,
so sad to see him go. It
was awful at the end. It was absolutely awful. I mean, it seemed as if when he was playing badly, they kept zooming in on French players in the crowd, like Fabrice Santoro and Amelie Mauresmo, and she sort of walked in like 2 games away from the end of the match if she thought he was going to lose, which was just kind of added to the drama
as well. I loved it, and the crowd, honestly, like the way they sort of rallied behind him and stuff. They gave so much atmosphere to the. It
was like a Davis Cup match, wasn't it? It was like a Davis Cup run, slam or tour match, but great tribute at the end as well. Yeah. They certainly went out with a bang. They spared no expense in the tribute. I mean, it was a long half an hour ceremony, wasn't it? It was like proper.
Made me disappointed in Delpo's send off, to be quite honest. But
no, you're right. Exactly, yeah. And Leighton Hewitt's, when he retired at Wimbledon, just sort of got a cheerio. He didn't really get a video, stuff like that. I mean, it was.
Yeah, Joe's was brilliant.
It was brilliant. It was sort of reminiscent of Andy in 20.
I know, in 2019.
I thought, don't show the video. You're going to jinx your own ceremony here. Don't show the video, and obviously they went full video. Tough times, actually. I was not tearing up, but I was sort of getting sad at the end of it there. He was like struggling to hold it in, I think.
Yeah, he was. He was breaking down on court at his last serve. It was lovely to see. Au revoir, indeed, Tsonga.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage, yeah. I prefer that, Gav.
A bientôt.
Yeah, okay.
Higher French vibes here.
And I'm going full French here. Full higher French. I love it.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Gav, I want to very quickly talk about some of the favourites and how they got on. Just very quickly glance over all of them. Very first one was Rafa v Jordan Thompson. 106th match win for Nadal at Roland Garros. Most for anybody at any Grand Slam.
And it's pretty much as comfortable as his previous 102 wins or whatever. Yeah,
105, previous 105. Yeah, no signs of the foot injury, which is obviously fantastic news for all Rafa fans. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's early enough. It's late enough in the week or the fortnight, to say that Rafa's foot injury isn't going to flare up, obviously, but it's looking promising. That's all I'll say. Definitely.
Well, I mean, we can't judge by one match, but at least he's not. He didn't show any physical issues. That's all you can ask, can't you?
Yeah.
That's all you can hope for.
Exactly. So your standard Rafa win at Roland Garros, to be honest. Next one was Medvedev V Bagness. Again,
surprised how comfortable it was, though.
Well, I maybe didn't see all of it then, Gav, because Bagness was definitely hampered by a calf injury. So there was some movement issues. I mean, Medvedev served well, but at the same time, actually exploited you exploit the injury. That's what you do. used a bunch of drop shots to sort of move Bagness around the court really well, actually. The drop shots were really nice, and I'd prefer to see more of that from Medvedev in his clay court game. However, it just obviously was a little bit too much for Bagness. He actually collapsed during one of his serves. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that, no.
Literally tried to land on the calf and just fell to the ground, so it was pretty horrible stuff, actually, at times. Yeah. I know. And they were having Peche, I think, and Annabelle Croft, I believe, we're having a pretty long debate over, should you get your full prize money basically if you know you're injured going on to the court and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. He's going to want to always give it a go, isn't he? I mean, that's the thing. He didn't retire. I mean, if he'd retired like 4-1 down in the first set, then you can have that discussion. But he completed the match.
Yeah, I think you get fined now actually if you retire. Like knowing you had an injury halfway through a match, I'm pretty sure.
He got as many games as Thompson got against Nadal, to be fair.
I know, I said that, yeah. So Medvedev, new king of clay.
And more games than Ballas got against Church. We'll go into that later on, but we all know
Quite right, yeah. So obviously a shame for Bagness, but yeah, if Medvedev can bring that serving and a little bit of that variety into his match with Jabeur,
and be more positive as well, just be positive in himself, confident in himself. I think he puts himself down a lot.
I suppose that maybe wasn't the most telling win, obviously, just because of the injury. But I think a win against Jabeur, obviously, that would be fantastic. That'd be a really good win.
Court player,
yeah. Next one I want to talk about is Djokovic v Nishioka.
Yep.
Easy win for Djokovic. Most one-sided French Open first round since his first ever match, actually back in 2005 at the French Open. Did you see him doing all the screaming?
I don't mind that. Before I know Tim Henman was being a bit, getting his Wimbledon etiquette hat on and being a wee bit shocked. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is competitive tennis. How many times have we seen Rafa shout "Come on" in big moments in matches? It's good. If I'm paying for a ticket and I'm wanting to watch the best player in the world give his full effort, and it's a first round match, and let's be honest, a lot of these players in the first round will maybe only be at 70%, 60%, just try and coast through it. But he wasn't, and I like that. I think it's a good thing. I think we're very much, especially in tennis, people are very quick to say, "Oh, he shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't be doing this, showing emotion." Shocking. He's actually happy to win. Come on. I mean, at the end of the day, it's
no. I think it's fine. I just think he was kind of leaning into the villain archetype a little bit because he was kind of doing it in retaliation to the crowd.
I like that again. He's got to cope. Well, to be fair, if there's any player that can cope with the crowd, it's Novak. We've seen that in the past. I think he quite enjoyed it. Actually, I quite liked it. Yeah, I don't think Nishioka did.
I also thought maybe he had a point to prove after not being able to play in Australia.
Yeah, I think he was on a mission there, and I don't know what Tim Henman was getting upset about really. If I'm a ticket payer or I'm paying for a ticket, I'm organising the tournament. I want to see the world number one get pumped up in the first round.
Yeah, I agree.
Well for the tournament,
Definitely. Did you get to see any of Swiatek beating Sharenko?
I was working at the time, but I was checking the live scores, and I think I went like on my break 15 minutes later. It's like 5-love, and I'm thinking, this is only going one way.
Yeah, it was one-way traffic the whole time, and no surprise, Swiatek was as scary as ever. Yeah, terrifying. It actually was. Like she's going to be as amazing as everybody thinks she's going to be at this tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get to see any of Halep v? I believe her name is Shunk. I don't like. It's not the most flattering name, I'll be honest. But
no, I didn't. I was too busy watching the Gaston de Minaur.
Yeah, I mean, it ended minutes before we did this podcast. So yeah, so it was actually very, very. It was one of those matches where you've got qualifier with nothing to lose, hits the balls hard, chicane basically, lefty as well, which is a little bit tough for her Halep to deal with when her backhand would normally go into her opponent's weakness. But yeah, Shunk. I mean, she went out there and played amazingly for a while, and it was a 6-1 second set, but then it was all Halep in the third. It just kind of went the same way as it happens quite a lot. A qualifier plays amazingly for a set. She was actually a break-up in the first as well, but same old story, Halep manages to come through, and hopefully that'll be a really good test for her, actually. Could sort of stand her in good stead. Definitely. Very quickly as well, Alcaraz terrifying against Flondero.
So much in that match. And to be fair, again, the commentators were pretty poor. I think it was Tim Henman and Simon Reid. I'm sort of calling them out in this podcast, really, but they made out as if Flondero had never played tennis in his life before. This guy has made the fourth round of Roland Garros where he lost to Rafa. He won the inaugural Cordoba Open from qualifying to win his first title on the ATP Tour. treat the guy with some respect.
Mhm.
He seemed shocked that he could play tennis. He's like, Londero's playing so well. It's like, well, he has won a title and he has made the fourth round here before. Calm down, guys. He's a good player.
I know,
He's not going to just roll over and say, take the triple bagel, Carlos. I mean, I was disappointed in the commentary. Well, after muting that, which I think eventually had to turn the volume down, it was just irritating me a lot. Carlos upped his level. That's simply what happened. Competitive for 9 games.
Mhm.
Carlos went to a different level. Londero couldn't go up to that level, and it got a bit ugly. But I think fair play to Londero. That's as well as he could have played, really.
Yeah, he played really tidily for a set and a bit. You're quite right. Yeah. The final, Badosa managed to defeat Fiona Ferrero quite tidily, actually. She will be one to watch for the tournament. I wasn't sure how she would be playing before she came into the tournament, but semi-final run, easy, to be honest. I think I could definitely see her doing that. Or once she gets to the semi-final, she'd probably be playing Swiatek. So it'll probably be a Swiatek-Badosa semi-final. That's probably the one I'd like to see most as well. Could be interesting. Badosa maybe has a chance at the same time. To be fair, her style of play is kind of to rush opponents down the middle of the court. It's not really tenable against Swiatek, to be honest. So, yeah, okay. Still, amazing play. It's the start of the tournament. Fingers crossed for Badosa. The final one I wanted to talk about was Rublev nearly cracking somebody in the face with a tennis ball.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look for Rublev, but it seems to happen to Andre every single tournament now, really. At some stage when he loses a set, he just goes berserk.
That's definitely not. It's definitely not an excuse, is it, Gav? That makes it much worse.
I don't know. I mean, the guy he seems like a really decent guy when you watch him in press conferences. He loves the sport. But I mean, my gosh, that guy can break a racket. I mean, he's like trying out new ways of breaking rackets. It's just mental. I mean,
I know. But in this case, for those who don't know, he was walking back to the chair, slammed a tennis ball against the chair, hit a line judges or somebody cleaning the court basically hat off. It easily could have hit him in the face, and he would have been disqualified there and then.
I mean, I just don't understand why players breaking I don't mind breaking rackets, and that's maybe controversial. A lot of people say it's shocking. Imagine the amount of kids that would want that racket. Yes, I get that. These pros are sponsored by companies to use rackets. They're also being under huge amounts of pressure, huge scrutiny, millions of people watching around the world. This is their livelihood. I can get them being frustrated and breaking in the odd racket. But this is happening every single tournament. It's happening every match, every tournament, being honest, whenever he drops a set. Yeah. It's not a great look, but equally, I'm surprised players risk, hitting lines, people like that. Why can't they just smash the racket within their own personal space? Why do we need to smash things against stuff and go flying everywhere? I don't get it. I think if you're going to smash a racket, do it well away from somebody. Do it either in the middle of the court, do it on your chair. Don't hit a ball into your chair, or don't throw your racket about. Just have a bit of common sense. But I guess that's sort of lacking if you're smashing your racket anyway. So
yeah, he needs to do something about it. At the same time, he does tend to come out of meltdowns like that playing good tennis.
He does. I don't know how. I think his blare goes up a notch as well. It goes up like a good 5%.
Yeah, exactly.
And that always helps.
It does. It actually does. So I'm kind of in two minds. I'm kind of torn what advice to give him. But
I just love watching the guy play.
That's not. I know, but that's not. It's not on. So he needs to sort it. I think, as you say, he needs to find a way to let out his frustration without almost damaging people. Yeah, so yes, it's signing out with second rounds to watch. Basically, we've got Djokovic with Molchan. Yep. Just interesting because Molchan has now got Vaja on his team.
That's going to be interesting as well. He didn't put out Chatri, despite Molchan's stock being in the rise. Yeah. But I guess if you've got Zverev, Baez, and Chatri.
Yeah, that's another one, Zverev, Baez. That should be interesting because Baez has got a chance for sure. It depends how the conditions are playing, to be honest. Nadal v Mute, mentioned that. Norrie v Kubler. Yeah, Kubler, obviously junior world number one. We had a discussion about it last week with Damien. He's really good on clay for various reasons, like ITF tournaments got put up in Australia for this and that reason. It's very coincidental he is good on clay, but he's better practiced than a lot of Australian players, so he's got a pretty good chance of playing well, maybe not causing the upset, but certainly making Norrie's life a little bit more difficult than you would expect. Fucsovic v Cilic.
The big man.
Cilic in blistering form, 6-love, 6-1,
Everyone says
6-2.
Rafa only dropped 6 games. Everyone talks about Novak only dropping, like, what was it, 4 games? But Matt Maron's keeping up the pace. I mean,
3 games dropped against Attila Balazs.
Like Dimitrov against Garone. I mean, he dropped 3 games. He gave 3 breadsticks to Garone, which was surprising given his form in Rome. But yeah, Big Maron, he's got the vibes.
Cilic was more interested in the bagels.
Bagels are tasted in breadsticks. And, magnificent Maron. Can the dream continue for another 2 days?
Against Fucsovic? I think so, Gav. Genuinely, I think so.
I'm still maintaining you can win Wimbledon this year. I still think this could be the dream fairy tale run. It could be like this decade's version of Goran Ivanisevic winning Wimbledon. That's how I'm envisioning it.
I keep forgetting he's like 20 seed, actually.
He's a solid player. I mean, we're not taking the piss out of him, but it is just quite funny. Like on his probably his least favourite surface, when he's not playing his best tennis, he's produced an absolute blistering performance like that. Like it's just unbelievable.
Honestly, it's applaudable. It's pretty good. Obviously mentioned Medvedev Gera already. Swiatek v Risk. It'll probably be one-way traffic, but just telling you, Swiatek's playing basically. Halep v Zheng could be very interesting. Can win Zheng. Halep should be the winner there, but Zheng's got a brilliant serve when it's on, so if she's playing well enough, who knows. Badosa v Yuvan, Keys v Garcia, that'll be interesting just to see if the French can, and Keys, I mean, not amazing at the French Open to be fair, but you probably see another French woman get through to the third round, I think. Linette v Trevisan, just Trevisan's in amazing form. I think that'll be quite a good chance for her to make a deep run against, if she beats Linette. Raducanu v Sasnovich, a rematch of Indian Wells, was it?
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah, interested to see if Raducanu gets the bit of revenge she'll be looking for there. I think she will.
I think so as well, yeah. After coming through that first round, I think she will.
Definitely. Bencic v Andreescu, that'll be a cracker.
The belters are coming left, right and centre.
I'd like to see Bencic do well at the French Open just because she was she's just never confident in herself on clay, and this kind of wee story is quite cool. But we'll see what happens if Bencic can get the win there. We've got Fernandez v Siniakova, Anisimova v Vekic, and Sakkari v Mukova. Sakkari managing to get a win over a French woman as well in the first round. Mukova will be a far tougher challenge.
I think so.
Yeah, we got quite a lot covered there. First round analysis done. Thank you very much for listening this far through. If you'd like to see any of my work, you can go to onlinetennis.uk. If you'd like to see any of Gav's work or my work, because I'm doing a bit of predictions as well, you can go to
Come back from the abyss. You've come to join us on that side.
I know, you can go to Last Word on Tennis to see a few of our predictions for the entirety of the French Open. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been the Online Tennis Podcast. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.